Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Norma Reyes and I'm a career and life coach. So today I am doing a vlog for Marie Forleo's B School. It's a tongue twister for me. I guess it's the end of the day. No more brain cells to say that correctly without pausing and thinking. And I keep messing with my hair. It's like a mess. Anyway, who cares? So today's vlog is about week 2. I started week 2, or she released week 2 on Monday, and I started it, and I was super excited because it's about building your website, and it has 4 lessons in there. And so I guess to backtrack a little bit, it's always backtracking on these dang vlogs. So I finished my week 1 lessons, but I left a lot of little gaps because I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just wait. And really, I think because I did that, I was like really wanting to get to this week. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going along with the websites, the module 2, and it's going good. And then it gets to the point of, picking a site and a host and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm like, I already have a site and I already have a host. And then I'm like, well, did I pick the right host? Did I pick the right place to host my website? And I have a decent website. I think it's not where I want it to be, but I made it. So, I mean, you get what you pay for. So, in that I became really I want to go do this and I like this. You see something and you go squirrel and you want to, you go into this rabbit hole of wanting all this stuff, and then it's like, well, that thing doesn't work with this other thing, right? And I'm going to give you guys a little more details just so y'all know, but before I go there, it ended with me just feeling really, really shitty last night and shitty this morning because I spent all this time on wanting to redo my website and then feeling like I got nowhere because I couldn't figure it out. And it's not that I can't ever not figure it out. It just became really overwhelming. And then I felt like I couldn't gain that time back with my family that I wasted. And, the good thing is that I have really good supports around me, and their feedback is like, well, it's just a process. You wouldn't know oops, sorry guys. You wouldn't know that you'd be at the spot without experiencing that spot. So whenever you go through those things, guys, you got to remember that. And I wrote a blog post about it, and it really helped me process that. Like, I was feeling like a failure, and when you fail at something that you want to get done, you get so fixated on it. You just want this thing and you just want to do it and you want to do it right. And then when you can't figure it out, and of course for me, it was just like a couple of hours. And I think to myself, like, God, I'm so stupid. But I'm not. I try not to talk to myself that way. But, when you are in this failing mood, this mood that you are just not able to get whatever it is that you were trying to do, then it just feels like that's the only thing. And it feels like nothing else matters because this one thing that you did is not working. And if just so upset. So to give you guys a better understanding of what's going on, and I shared with one of my staff because he's working on building his own business, and he's at the startup, and so every time that I run into an issue, I'm like, this is what happened, and hopefully you can take this, and hopefully it'll be some experience for you to gain some knowledge on. And he thought my analogy was pretty cool. So I'm gonna share it with you guys. So if you're a new entrepreneur and you are watching this, and even if you're not a new entrepreneur, but maybe a different way to think about things. So, and I was like Googling YouTube videos, and everybody on YouTube that talks about videos, about building a website sounds so boring. And I'm sorry, I'm not a web developer or builder, and hopefully there's other people out there that do that, and they can, spice it up and make you want to watch it. But I was like, oh my gosh, I just couldn't watch the videos. And there were videos about WordPress, and that could be at WordPress.com, and that makes a big difference if you're using WordPress.com, WordPress.org, but whatever. Anyway, I'm here, and I picked WordPress.com, and while it's not ideal for building or using different web building, so that's a host. Anyway, so maybe I should start there. So it's a lot. And so there is like 3 different parts to building your website. And that's, I think, what tripped me up. It's like, okay, I didn't realize I need this and this and this and this and this. And so there is this website builder, right? So think of that it's a home builder. So you're building your house and you need a home builder, and there's this particular builder that I wanted, and that builder doesn't build on the land that I bought. So I'm using WordPress.com, and so we'll call that the land is like your host. So your web host is your land. And so my web host land is WordPress.com. And so that builder does not build for that land. And I figured that out after, right? Fortunately, I didn't spend any money on that web builder and that whole hoopla. But I mean, all that time did feel like I wasted a bunch of time trying to figure that out. And, anyway, gosh, it just feels like a lot. So anyway, so a web host is like the land that you are choosing to build your website on, right? And so your land, there's so many different types of web host out there. And I think that there's like 3 ones or whatever. It's like WordPress.org, but I'm using com, and that's a whole other thing. But anyway, and then there's, I don't know, whoever the other ones are. Google them. Anyway, so that's just the land, right? That's where you're hosting your website. And so you have to buy the land, and then you have to buy a builder if you want. Or you can figure out HTML. And some web host offer web building within it, right? You have to pay a little bit more, and then you can figure that out, right? But it's tedious. It's tedious is what it is. And you can find a lot of sites that kind of give you here, give you there, and you can just kind of copy paste or whatever. And for myself, I think I like to be a little bit more free and a little bit more creative, but then I picked WordPress.com as the one that I wanted, and it's a little more restrictive because it's for novice, and it's for people who don't necessarily want to deal with all the HTML and the code and all that. And so anyway, so again, right? So then there's the land, and then there's a builder, and then your address is your domain, right? In case you're wondering where all of that fits in. And your domain, you have to pay for it every so often, and blah, blah, blah. So, and that's another thing. So there's a domain that I want, but it's being held hostage by GoDaddy.com. So if you have any way to help me out with that, please hit me up, because GoDaddy is trying to make money off of me. Anyway, so there's the domains, which is the address to your website. There's the LAN, and then there's different builders that you can use to build your LAN, your website. So all of that. And I mean, and I already have I already have I already have some land, right, on WordPress.com, and I already have a house on it. It's like a decent house. It's not a shanty house or something, but it's a decent house. And I just I was just wanting to so there is movers, guys. So if you decide you want to move to a different land and have a different builder and have a new house, you can do that too. That's possible, right? Which is an option that I was looking at, and it actually wasn't too bad. I was looking at SiteGround was the host, and they have really good reviews. I'm not affiliated or anything, and I was going to go with them, and then I decided I really don't want to have to learn a whole new interface, right? Because you got to think about it. You got to weigh those options out. And then I was trying to find an alternative for what I currently have and that I currently can use. And of course, last night, it was probably close to 11 or something. I was like, oh my God, I felt terrible because I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. But, I guess I would have had to gone through this whole process to figure out what it was and what I didn't want. And then to just make it just feel even shittier was that I was doing all this stuff, but I was losing where what do I want to put on my site? What do I want to change? What is it that I want from it? And that's partly on the lessons that I kind of I don't want to say that I didn't do the work, because I did do most of the work, but there's parts there that I left unfinished. And so I think there was just all this surmounting guilt last night that I was wasting all this time. I wasn't able to figure it out. I couldn't have YouTube help me. And that's my thing. I hate asking for help. Right. I hate asking for it. And so then, but I did last night. I sent an email to someone who said she was has some familiarity with some web building. And so I think just doing that and putting it out there allowed my brain to just release it, right? Let myself go to bed and relax. And this morning I was still in a funk, and just then that made me feel even worse because I took the morning off from my full-time job so that I could go see my daughter go play soccer, because they have a 10 a.m. game for whatever reason, because it's spring break. And then I came into work this afternoon, and then now it's after work. And so I was but in that time, I was still having to process it. So this morning, during my time off, I was trying to process it, and I started doing a blog post, and the blog post is feeling like a fraud. And so I won't go into what I wrote in there because you guys can read it if you're interested, but it was just really having to process everything. And really, you got to remember, that's my takeaway from yesterday, from Marie's videos. She talks about that, you can't rush the process. And it's funny. So I read multiple books at once, and then whatever book I feel like reading that night. And so last night I was reading, it's by the same author that wrote Girl, Wash Your Face. Oh, Girl, Stop Apologizing. And so she talks about in there, that it's a process. So I thought it was funny. I always think it's funny whenever my books start talking to me in whatever situation that I'm currently feeling. And so literally I was looking at the pages thinking, stop trying to rush this process. It's all a learning lesson. It's not wasted time. I learned a lot. Obviously, I learned that there's lands and web builders and movers and all this stuff that I didn't know. And it feels like it's nothing, but it can help someone out by sharing my information, my staff that I share that information with. Now he knows a little bit more, and you guys know a little bit more. So while it felt like wasted time because it didn't get me where I wanted to go, it really wasn't, because I needed to go through that to make a decision, to decide what it was that I wanted to do. It's just that it wasn't where I thought I was going to end up being and not moving. I decided not to move at all. And here I am. And it reminded me too that I needed to go back and really finish out those lessons to really be able to get my website where I wanted to be. So there is that lesson too. I think that's all I got. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to tell you guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and then, share it with someone so I can keep on growing and, impact and help a lot of other people, because that's essentially what I want to do. I would love, for more people to just get my message, which is you can do whatever you want. You are empowered. It doesn't matter where you come from. And I'm here not just to show you guys that, but to support you guys any way that you need. Send me a message, send me a question. If there's a topic you'd like me to talk about, let me know. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.